Mankind has always wanted to know what the future had in store for him, good or bad. Prophecies have been made throughout the years, from religious scripts to the sibylline, from Nostradamus to Baba Vanga. Here are 5 prophecies that actually came true. Number 5. Leonardo da Vinci. Was Leonardo da Vinci just a genius, or did he have prophecies containing information on modern-day mechanics and transportation? Da Vinci, probably the most well-known Renaissance man, was a painter, musician, inventor, mathematician, engineer, geologist, and so much more. Historians and scholars see him as the original genius, but much more might have been at hand. Da Vinci was born in Vinci, Florence, in 1452, and died on the 2nd of May, 1519 in Amboise, France. The most notable work of Da Vinci is the Mona Lisa, a painting with many mysteries of her own, and I am sure I will cover them fully in one of the next episodes. However, Da Vinci also engineered crafts, both on land and in the air, in a time where people weren't even thinking about aviation. When looking at Da Vinci's inventions and his drawings, it is easy to see why so many people consider him to be a time traveler, or even someone with prophetic abilities. He designed a craft that has the same abilities and use as a modern-day tank. And although his famous and notorious bicycle is a hoax, Da Vinci designed helicopters, parachutes, and he even tried his hand at an airplane. So what do you think? Was Da Vinci just a genius, or was there something else, something more sinister going on? Number 4. Morgan Robertson and the sinking of the Titan. The sinking of the Titanic is still one of the biggest boat disasters in human history. In 1912, many were left bereft of their friends and family members as the ship was allegedly sunk by an iceberg. I am not going to go into the many theories around the sinking of the Titanic, but what I am going into is the book Titan, written by Morgan Robertson. Robertson published the novella Titan in 1889, 13 years before 1,500 people would meet their end in the cold North Atlantic Ocean. The book tells the story of the boat Titan and how it perished, hitting an iceberg mid-April, just like the Titanic. Both boats were described as the largest ship of its day and were actually almost the same size. Titanic measured 25 meters longer. They were also both branded as unsinkable before hitting an iceberg and were capable of speeds over 20 knots. Although both boats had thousands of passengers on board, they carried the bare legal minimum of lifeboats with all of its consequences. It has been argued that Robertson was not a writer with prophetic properties, since he was interested in maritime affairs and had always argued boats would become big monstrosities. What do you think? Number 3. Ursula Sontheil. Ursula Sontheil was born in 1488 in Norfolk, England. She exhibited psychic gifts and foresights and prophecies. She was a contemporary of Nostradamus, but being a woman, she was not allowed his level of education and lacked in training a network of royal friends to protect her. Scared she was going to be branded a witch and die a gruesome death, she published her prophecies in rhyme and verse. In 1559, Ursula Sontheil published an epic poem for which she would be best known throughout the ages. In 1561, merely 2 years later, she died in Clifton, Yorkshire. Ursula was able to predict the death of Henry's son, Edward VI, the reign of Bloody Mary, and the ascent of Queen Elizabeth to the throne of England. Here are 5 other prophecies by Ursula Sontheil. Number 1. Then upside down the world shall be, and gold found at the root of tree. All England's sons that plough the land shall oft be seen with book in hand. The poor shall now great wisdom know. Great houses stand in far-flung vale, all covered over with snow and hail. This is a prediction of the printing press and the mass distribution of books, and Ursula also seems to be predicting the gold rush towards the New World. She also seems to herald the age of knowledge and enlightenment, even for the very poor. Another thing touched here is the mass migration to cities, with the countryside staying behind forlorn. Number 2. A carriage without horse will go, disaster fill the world in woe. Primrose Hill shall be in centre, hold the bishop's seat. Motor cars and trains are foretold by Ursula, together with their accidents. She also seems to be touching the formation of the Church of England by Henry VIII. 3. Through towering hills proud men shall ride, no horse or ass move by their side. Beneath the water men shall walk, shall write, shall sleep, shall even talk. This might be the prediction of skyscrapers, followed by the mention of submarines and scuba gear. Maybe there will be aquatic cities in the future. In water iron then shall float as easy as a wooden boat. Gold shall be seen in stream and stone in a land that is yet unknown. Ships made of iron and steel, and probably a description of America and the gold rush. A house of glass shall come to pass in England, but alas, alas, a war will follow worth the work, where dwells the pagan and the Turk. This might describe the building of a gigantic glass palace called the Crystal Palace for the Great Exhibition in 1851. It was destroyed by a fire in 1936. The rest could be a description of the England ventures in Turkey, the Middle East, the Afghan, Indian and Boer wars. Number 2. Nostradamus. Michel de Nostradamus, also known as Nostradamus, was a 16th century apothecary and reputed seer. He published a collection of prophecies that have gathered a worldwide fame. His best-known book is Les prophecies. The first edition of the book appeared in 1555, and since the publication of this book, it has rarely been out of print. Here are 3 predictions by Nostradamus that actually came true. 1. Volcanic fire from the center of the earth will cause trembling around the new city. 2 great rocks will make a war for a long time. Then Arethusa will redden a new river. In the year 1999, in the 7th month, from the sky will come the great king of terror, bringing back the life of a great king of the Mongols. Before and after, Mars to Rhine by good fortune. The prophecy mentions the new city, the center of the earth, which is the World Trade Center, and towers, the Twin Towers, and it is believed to be related to the 9/11 attacks. Number 2. From the deepest of the west of Europe, a young child will be born of poor people. He who by his tongue will seduce the great troop. His fame will increase towards the realm of the east. Beasts ferocious will hunger, will swim across rivers. The greater one will cause it to be dragged in an iron cage. And when the German child will observe nothing. The beast in his prophecy is often interpreted as Adolf Hitler and the German War. He crossed over into France, and the Second World War was even fought over into the realm of the East, of Japan. Number 3. From the enslaved people, songs, chants, and demands, the princes and lords are held captive in prisons, in the future by such hatchless idiots. These will be taken as divine utterances. Before the war comes, the great wall will fall. The king will be executed, his death coming too soon will be lamented. The guards will swim in blood, near the river Seine, the soil will be bloodied. This is said to prophesy the French Revolution. It was a period of radical social and political upheaval in French and European history. The French nobility collapsed as they lost their heads during public executions. Society underwent an epic transformation, stripping it from its feudal, aristocratic, and religious privileges, introducing the principles of enlightenment. Number 1. Baba Vanga. Baba Vanga is a Bulgarian-born prophetess that is best known for her predictions concerning 9/11, the Boxing Day tsunami, and the rise of IS. Vanga was born on January 31st, 1911, and passed away in 1996. She was known as the Nostradamus of the Balkan and has been revered in Russia and Eastern Europe as some kind of supernatural saint. In a 50-year career as a celebrated clairvoyant, Vanga made a large number of predictions, of which a number about natural and climate change-related disasters. She warned about the melting of the polar ice caps and the rising sea temperature in the 1950s, decades before people were even talking about global warming. She also described a huge wave descending on a big coast, covering people and towns, and this was supposed to be a reference to the 2004 tsunami and earthquake across the Pacific Rim. She also predicted a great Muslim war, which many believe foretold the rising of IS. Vanga even predicted that the 44th President of the United States would be an African American, and he would, she predicted, be the last US President. Here are 3 of Baba Vanga's most famous prophecies that came true. 1. Cold regions will become warm and volcanoes will awaken. A huge wave will cover a big coast, covered with people and towns, and everything will disappear beneath the water, and everything will melt just like ice. This is believed to foretell the big Boxing Day tsunami and global warming. 2. Horror. Horror. The American Brethren, believed to be the reference to the 2 brother towers, will fall after being attacked by the steel birds, the planes, and the wolves will be howling in the bush, believed to be a reference to then US President George W. Bush, and innocent blood will gush. 3. At the turn of the century, in August of 1999 or 2000, Kursk will be covered with water, and the whole world will be weeping over it. This obviously has been a reference to the sinking of the Kursk. But what is in store for the future? Baba Vanga also made some predictions for the years to come. 2028, mankind will fly to Venus. 2076, communism will return to Europe and the rest of the world. 2130, mankind will live underwater with the help of aliens. 3005, a war on Mars will change the trajectory of the planet. 3797, everything on Earth will die. Human civilization will then move on to a new star system. So, these were 5 people whose predictions of the future came true. Next week, we are going to take a closer look at 5 of the weirdest, unexplained pictures. Don't forget to subscribe and tune in next week.